All right, everybody, this is Dr. Buckley, and I've got a couple special guests. I've got a couple of biohackers today, and I've got Sarah Turner and Christian Barman. And Sarah's going to be coming on in and offering some red light therapy to attendees in the Revive Clinic. And Christian's a developer of a product, which is a red light therapy in the field of natural healthcare and biohacking right now. One of the hottest technologies is this red light therapy. And so I'm going to have them talk a little bit about that and how they got into this field. So why don't we start off with Sarah? Sarah, you want to just kind of introduce yourself, how you got into the field of biohacking, and specifically how you found this red light therapy that you're working with now?
Sure, yeah. I was working as the head of research for an alternative medicine company. Mm-hmm. And I was living in California, and so it was the kind of got into the whole biohacking movement and was involved in making some media, making a movie about biohacking and the different kinds of biohacks and the technology involved. And really that's when I started looking very seriously at photobiomodulation, red light therapy. And since then, I spent quite a while getting trained in red light therapy, and I was involved in some trials looking at red light therapy for Parkinson's disease. And subsequently, now I'm kind of full on focused on red light therapy just because I've seen what it can do. Yeah. Cool.
So I think people would be interested to know, like, what kind of results you saw with the red light therapy as it relates to Parkinson's.
Yes, so the study was really looking at all different aspects of Parkinson's, like speed of movement, gait analysis. There was some biomarkers. From a subjective point of view, people's attitudes completely changed. People were able to do things that they weren't able to do. And I came on board and did 3 months of the data collection when people had already tried some of the red light therapy devices. And this was a helmet that they were using, and they were shining light into the eyes as well. And they have got some good results, and those results are being published, and that's under Quiet Mind Foundation, actually in Philadelphia, under Texas University. And also I saw people who were had Alzheimer's disease, because that's the next study. And I was actually introduced to a lovely lady who before had really been non-functional. And although she wasn't back to full functioning, she was engaging with her family and doing things that she hadn't done for many years. So really the results were quite astonishing from that point of view.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very cool.
And Christian, you're working on the manufacturing of the red light devices, and how did you get into all of this?
Oh, that's a long story, but I've worked and lived in Asia, China, for almost 20 years. And about 10 years ago, I had a surgery. I had to remove my gallbladder. And from then, I was introduced to becoming a vegan, because all my doctors said that I couldn't metabolize fats. So I'm like, okay. So I went online and I checked in my country, and they said the same. Yeah, you just go in, take it out. And I became a vegan. And after a while, for many years actually, and then I was exposed to Dave Asprey on a weird podcast while sitting in China. And he was talking about bulletproof coffee. So fat straight in the coffee. And I started doing that, and it worked. And then from there, I got into the stuff that he was talking about. And he talked about a lot of stuff, among other things, a little red light laser thing that you put up your nose, that I was shining my brain, I thought. And my partner at the time, who is the inventor of the flex beam, he was making fun of me because he said that there's not enough power. There's no way this can go all the way into your brain, or blah, but I was still using it. I don't know if I felt much. But I've been using stuff like this for, let's say 6-7 years now. And then a couple of years ago, my partner again, Aryan, was working on a solution for his wife who has a liver issue. And he was developing some red light therapy because he found some, I believe it was some NASA studies about the efficacy of near infrared lights. And we started building prototypes and, smashing products together. And at a certain point where we had to up the power more and more and more. We started pretty low power, and we reached some kind of a threshold or something, and it started like, whoa, like really working. So I saw that on my cousin was one of them. I had a couple of customers in another company of mine, and circulatory issues and pain issues were like melting away. And I'm a business guy, so I was sitting there, okay, this seems promising.
Mm-hmm. Well, very cool. So your device is one of many devices that's on the market right now. And what makes your particular device unique, and why would somebody opt for it as opposed to something else that's out there?
Well, I have it here, so I can show you. So this is the Flex Beam. And it has 3 pods that shine light. And the unique thing about the Flex Beam is that you can do this. So you can put your hand or your feet or your ankle or your shoulder, and you get therapeutic light input from several angles. Because what's happening with light, when it hits tissue, it can penetrate into your body, but it will lose effect. So for every millimeter it goes in, it becomes less and less powerful. So if you really want to go in and treat that kind of center area, your knees or your joints or your bones, what we do, we take that super powerful light and we wrap it around. So I would say that's the main unique. Okay, it's portable and it's all that kind of stuff, but the fact that you can get light in from many angles, that's the main difference.
Right. I have a red light device. It's LED, and it's just a hard, flat screen that I like. But the entire time that I've worked with it, I thought, this needs to actually be flexible and be able. I need to wrap it around different tissues, and you've solved that problem. So.
Pretty much, yeah, because distance is extremely important. So the therapeutic effect falls off a cliff when you sort of move away from the panel. And it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult, especially on your back, for instance, to gauge your distance all the time. And you have to be naked. And it's a great thing, but it's not super practical. And for compliance and actual daily use, this is much, much easier because you bring it, you sit and watch TV or you bring it in your car, and then trust me, your mom's going to ask for it, your kid's going to ask for it. So this thing is going to move around not only with you, but in the house as well.
Right. Now, Sarah, maybe you want to talk a little bit about this. So one of the things that drew me into experimenting with the red light therapy was some of the research showing that it induced mitochondrial repair, mitochondrial biogenesis, and in terms of anti-aging and just overall health, that's one of the most important things that you can do for your body. So you want to talk a little bit about that and the research there?
Yeah, I think this whole thing about mitochondrial health, it's a new understanding of biology and how to become healthy. And one of the main ways that red and near-infrared light interacts with the body is via the mitochondria. Certainly one of the main ways that near-infrared light is thought to work, and it probably has many mechanisms, but one of the main ones is via cytochrome C oxidase, which is one of the enzymes in the respiratory pathway inside the mitochondria. So that's literally how your body produces energy. Mm-hmm. So if you want to have more energy in the body or your mitochondria to be more efficient and effective, then near-infrared light will help stimulate that. So really you're kind of empowering your body to do the healing by activating the mitochondria. And but it's not just it's not just giving them the energy, it's also, how they migrate and how mitochondria reproduce and all of those things in the body. So yeah, mitochondrial medicine is big, and near-infrared is part of that movement.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And has it been isolated that it's working specifically on, complex 3 of the mitochondria? Is it working on
Complex 4, cytochrome C oxidase.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, there has been a lot of research into this, and they have definitely found that that's what it's called, a photoacceptor. Because really, if you want light to do anything in the body, it's got to be received and then turned into something else. And certainly that particular enzyme is a receiver of light, but there are lots of other receivers of light in the body. Water, for example, that's a whole nother thing that people are looking at, structured water in the body. Mm-hmm. So light is a photoacceptor. Also, there are components of the blood. Basically, anything that's got kind of an aromatic ring in its structure can act as a receptor for light, because it's how light resonates with parts of the body. So there are lots of ways, actually, that light interacts with the body, and there are lots of these different molecules and enzymes that will receive light and then use that for a physiological process.
Okay, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Out of curiosity, have you done anything with methylene blue? I know there's research that looks at combining the use of methylene blue along with red light therapy. Have you done anything with that?
Personally, I have taken methylene blue, to give my body, more oxygen. And I kind of am coming from baseline where I'm usually quite kind of up anyway. So I didn't actually personally, apart from having strange turquoise pee that you have when you take this stuff, I didn't really, but yeah, it's interesting. I mean, all of these things that have a synergistic effect are interesting to explore. And I know that we're at Recharge, we're looking at molecular hydrogen, for example, or we're looking at a lot of other things that may or may not have effect, maybe even I received some papers the other day looking at synergistic effects with the endocannabinoid system and how you could maybe trigger that. So there are a lot of these different biohacks and ways that you can synergistically use red light with nootropics or other compounds. Yeah,
it looks like it's one of the ultimate complementary therapies that's out there. It's shown to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which anybody that's dealing with any sort of health problem tends to be dealing with, a lack of parasympathetic tone, right? So this is something that's been shown to improve parasympathetic tone. So it has broad applications in healing.
It does. It does. And it's something where you're actually strengthening your body at the same time as you're doing the healing. So really it's a win-win. Not only are you helping yourself with the condition, but you're also strengthening your body for, to be more resilient. And there's a lot of data actually for the preventative effects of using red light, which is something that I'm big into, because I actually don't have health issues, but I do not want to get dementia, for example. So I'm using red light myself kind of as a prophylactic to prevent myself from getting these conditions.
Yeah. Very cool. So you're going to be offering... Sarah's going to be offering...
I wanted to say one little thing here, because I've been listening and I'm thinking... so there's a few guys on our team that has been in this industry for close to 40 years, quite literally. So we have a very long span of people here, and the difference between a targeted photobiomodulation approach and a full body is also, if you are frail. I mean, guys like us who are biohackers, we want to optimize and become stronger and Superman and stuff. But there's another side of the spectrum as well, where you are tired and you are fatigued. You're not very, very healthy. So there are a lot to be said about using targeted near-infrared, so you can stimulate mitochondria, like you talked about, and stimulate the inflammation response in a certain area instead of your whole body at once. Because standing in front of that panel actually creates quite a lot of what do you call it, metabolic effect on your body. So if you're a weak person from the beginning, I think there's a lot to be said to use targeted photobiomodulation instead of a full body approach.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. For sure. So in terms of what it is that you're going to be offering in the clinic, like how long is a session going to be? What are you going to charge? That kind of thing. What days are you going to be there?
So actually the device, although, Christian showed and it's a small device, actually it's a very powerful device, and the output from the device is just as much from the big panels. And because of that, the treatment times are just 10 minutes. it's a very effective and efficient treatment time. So I'm going to be offering sessions which are going to be fairly short sessions, like 30 minutes, because we can do a couple of areas. But again, it's not something that you kind of have to stand in front of for hours or anything. It's a very short targeted treatment. So I'm going to be offering like maybe a couple of 10-minute treatments. And I'm going to be there for most of the conference. I'm going to be leaving a little bit earlier on the 19th, I think. And then for while the clinic's open, I will be there doing sessions. So I expect to be there like in the morning and then a break for lunch and then in the afternoon again.
Okay. And how much is a session going to cost someone?
We're going to be charging $30 a session, but really it's really to introduce people to light therapy and to kind of introduce them to recharge and what we're trying to do.
Right. So your device isn't currently for sale. Is that right, Christian?
Yeah, correct. Because we're building up for a big Indiegogo launch in March.
Okay. And I don't know, could you just kind of expound upon, outside of the flexibility of the device and why that's obviously a benefit that I can recognize, but what are some of the other key features with regard to the light spectrums that you're working with and the portability?
Yes. Okay. So basically, a few years ago, LED technology made it possible for companies like Juve and these panel companies to start making therapeutic output devices using LEDs. So I think it's quite logical that the first product range you see is basically simple boxes you can hang on the wall, and this is what you can get to market fastest. So this is a very different approach. This is a product that has been designed. So the FlexBeam has been designed by industrial designers, and this is several thousands hours of engineering that goes into making sure that it's, like you say, you can bring it with you when you go out, but that's one thing. But I think more importantly, in your house. So you can So you can use it on your back. We have a little band, so you can strap it on your back. I use it on my tummy for my gut. So I just strap it around while I do other things. It has very, very simple, easy to use button system here. So it's very easy. You want red light, both, or near infrared light. So what we have done, we have managed to tweak the near infrared light so we can sweep through a bunch of wavelengths. There are different wavelengths have different therapeutic effects according to scientific papers. So what we managed to do, we managed to tweak that guy so we can we can sort of sweep from about 810 nanometer up to about 865 nanometers on the near infrared, and we have a 630 red LED in here. So you can target your skin, and you're just below the skin, and also you can go deep into tissue and bone because of the fact that we wrap around.
Mm-hmm. All right. So there can't be that much heat that's coming out of it since it's LED. Is that correct?
Well, actually not. There's quite a lot of heat coming out of LEDs. And especially when you only want to use the red and near infrared light. So the efficiency, so when you look at panels and when you look at these products, you have two kind of wattage readings. You have one going into the device and one of the watt coming out in terms of light. And there's actually a lot of heat being generated. So in here, we have engineered both a fan in each one. So we have active cooling on top of a massive heat sink that is embedded onto the PCB, which acts as the passive cooling. So just to cool this guy is quite a lot of engineering that goes into cooling this guy. So you will feel it. You will feel it like warm, like nice and warm, not hot.
Okay. And how long does a charge last on that?
Depending on which program you use, between 10 and 15 treatments.
Okay. And how long does it take to charge?
A couple of hours to charge.
Okay.
So there's a lithium battery pack in here with 3 18650s that gives the juice.
Okay. Very cool. And how long, what would a life expectancy be on a battery like that before you have to replace it?
Well, it's about, this is an NMC technology, so it's about 1,200 to 2,000 cycles charging up and down, depending on how you protect the battery and how far you take it down before you. So when you design an electronic product like this, you don't want to discharge your batteries all the way down. Right. So we stop the discharge to keep the healthy battery cell longer. But I would say between roughly 1,500 charges before you will see a decrease. You can still use the product, but you will decrease towards 80 to 70% of the initial capacity.
Okay. Right.
You can also use this guy while plugged in.
Okay. Well, one of the main features, I think, from a biohacking point of view, is that you're not getting any non-native EMF radiation from the device. It's really negligible, almost none, because you're not using it entirely plugged into the main system. And also because of that, you're not getting the Hertz oscillation from the electricity supply, which is a big thing with some of the other devices.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. Okay. This is stuff we have been working on, like I said, for almost 20 years, is to get past these EMC and EMI emissions. So that has been one of the main tenets of the design, is to make it safe, and not only from safety, but to get it approved into the Europe, for instance, there's very, very high demands.
All right. So what's the price point on a device like that?
Yeah, you would think it would be much more if you look at the market today, but we're going to go out and we're going to sell this for below $500.
Nice. Okay. And when you guys, you're not going to be bringing devices there for sale, correct?
Correct.
No, we're just going to be showing. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so, will you be taking orders for devices then? Or will you just kind of be planting the seed and saying, "Hey, look here, in a couple of months, you can order it then"?
Not a couple of months. In March, we will launch on Indiegogo, so it's very soon.
Okay.
Yeah. We will have a pre-launch page, so there will be a beautiful little thing you can sign up, and everybody who wants to support us in the upcoming Indiegogo, which of course is what we have to do. We're not a big corporation. We're a bunch of guys. So the Indiegogo model was sort of natural for us to ask the crowd, kind of thing, right? So the algorithms of Indiegogo are very, very precise. So if we can sell about 35% of our target in the first 2 days, we will be bounced up to, on their mailing lists and their team picks and all that kind of stuff. So for us, it's extremely important to funnel all the early interest into the Indiegogo campaign.
Okay, very cool. Well, I'm looking forward to having one. I know that the practitioners that are coming on in are going to be excited about this too. So it's fantastic. Is there anything else you guys you want to share that I haven't brought up that you think is kind of relevant and pertinent?
Well, I can say from my point of view that I'm very, very excited to come, because I've been following the Anarchapulco for a few years, because of James Corbett, my mainstream media guy. So I'm super psyched, and Ricky Ross, and so for me, because we are a company like that, we're not a big multinational thing. We have been financed by friends and family up to now. Close to $1 million actually right now. So there's no big VC money or anything like that so far. So everything is a pull from individuals looking for solutions and working together. So from that perspective, I think we're a very, very good match with the Anarchapulco spirit.
Yeah. And to be providing a solution, it's non-toxic, it's non-invasive, and it's something that actually benefits you long term. So from that point of view, I'm excited to come and show it too.
Yeah, I'm sold on red light therapy, and what you guys have presented to me. Like I'm anxious to get my hands on the device too. So I would encourage anybody that's interested in health maintenance and longevity, disease prevention, to look at the research behind red light therapy and consider checking this out at Anarchapulco. So I'm happy to have you guys.
We have a website, personalrecharge.com, and if you put there's like an email sign up, then we'll send you a PDF. We made a very beautiful sort of introduction explanation of all the exciting stuff that red light therapy can do. So it's not like the R.A. Witten book, but it's more, like a short coffee table thing that you could show, So I recommend that people go there and sign up, and they can read more about it.
And see the research, because there's a ton of research.
Yeah, tons of links in there. Tons of links.
Very cool. All right. Well, I look forward to seeing you guys. It's going to be February 10th through the 20th is in Anarchapulco, and I'm excited to be going again and bringing in some really amazing practitioners and innovators such as yourselves. And I look forward to seeing you guys there.